All right, now it is my pleasure to be joined by former Iowa Hawkeye, Jack Heflin. Jack, how are you doing today, man?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing great. Jack, I can't believe that, like, for me as an outsider, that the season's over and someone that used to be a college athlete is now about to be a pro athlete. How have you processed just this whirlwind of the season ending in this strange 2020 year that we had, going to the Hula Bowl and just trying to get yourself ready for what's next?
I mean, basically, I just take everything one day at a time, especially with the COVID and all that stuff. You really can't. I mean, I learned that from last season being in the Big Ten. We had our season canceled twice, I want to say. So it's kind of just taking it one day at a time, just working hard, keeping a positive mindset. And that's all I really can do, especially being a former college athlete. Now, it's weird to say because it makes me feel old, but having the opportunity to chase my dream of playing in the NFL is a blessing, and a lot of people don't realize how special that is, and some people take it for granted. But I'm just enjoying every moment I can with this process.
So, of course, I imagine that you're training now that the Hula Bowl's over. But with no combine, I mean, I have to imagine then it's sort of like all eyes are set on the pro day. So, do you have certain days marked for like when you're going to be able to kind of showcase your talents one last time?
Yeah, so our pro day at Iowa is going to be March 22nd. Um, and I'm blessed that we have a lot of good players, a lot of good seniors coming out this year. So there should be a good crowd there.
And I got to ask because, I want to talk about the 2020 season. And I mean, like, yes, you are a great defensive lineman, but how hard is it to be a good defensive lineman and stand out amongst the likes of, Chauncey and Daviyon? I mean, Iowa just, I feel like every year is loaded in the trenches. But what was it like going up against, two legit guys in their own right? How did you guys sort of play off of one another in what I'd imagine is make each other better?
I mean, it was at first, I mean, because we knew Daviyon had what it takes, and then he exploded. Like, we're like, wow, like, this guy's freaky. Like, we knew Chauncey had it from the start. Like, it's Chauncey. Chauncey's going to do Chauncey. And we're just waiting for Daviyon to explode. And me, I'm the new guy, so I gotta show what I can do. But basically, it was simple for me. Just don't try to do anything special. Just play the game. The Purdue game, I tried to do too much, and then as the season went on, I just got comfortable and just go on playing the game of football. Don't try to make a play. Let the play like just play hard, and the play will make itself. So being amongst those two and Valk, he had a hell of a year too. Just being amongst those three D linemen, it was very easy to be able to make a play because there was a bunch of players going around because they were being extremely disruptive too. So I think that we played great off each other, especially towards the end of the year. Daviyon and I were kind of just someone will hit a lane and the other one will cover. Like, we just knew it was fun to watch him explode on the scene and be able to have the opportunity to play amongst those guys.
So, and obviously, even though you were a grad transfer and only spent 1 year at Iowa, nothing against what you had done prior to Iowa, but were you taking anything from their game or how even Iowa, the coaching staff was coaching you? How much were you able to really change how you were approaching what you were doing, whether it was from the staff or just your teammates?
Oh, when I was at Iowa, I would say the biggest thing that I learned is how to be a pro. Uh, it's just the way Coach Ferentz and Coach Bell and Coach Parker and Coach Wallace, they all run their program and their defense and how they run the D line there. I mean, with Coach Neiman there too, it's just as they expect a lot out of you. They expect you to know a lot, and it's a simple thing. There's a simple defense. You play hard, but that's where, like, learn how to become a pro there was something special for me because, I mean, some of the freshmen are more mature than a lot of people I know that are seniors in some places, but it's just an awesome program and an awesome culture to be around and to grow because the guys there, they promote success amongst each other. They're true. Everyone there is truly happy for someone else being great.
And Coach Ferentz has been there for so long. I mean, he's basically a legend now already in college football. So is it him? Is there something in the water? Is it the strength and conditioning team? I mean, if you had to try to pinpoint like what they're doing, because just every year, it's Tristan Wirfs last year, every year there's either an O lineman or a D lineman that's like top 10 potential.
I would just say it's the people, to be honest. It's people in the culture. Is people. I mean, it just shows up. You work hard. That's all it is. It's hard, and they expect the most out of you. They're gonna love you up, but they're gonna push you, and they want to see you succeed, and they're happy for your success, and no one's holding anyone back. It's an amazing culture with amazing people, and it starts from the head man and Coach Ferentz all the way down to the last freshman in the door. It's just amazing just being a part of something there.
So I just have one last question about Coach Ferentz. Again, over 20 years, I think almost 25 now he's been there. What is it about how he approaches being a coach that you think has made him so successful for so long?
I would say the relationship he has with his players. It's always funny because you always look at the head coach, and most people are, oh no, the head coach is around us, like we better tighten up. Coach Ferentz will come up to you, talk to you, ask you how's your day going, ask you how your family is. He truly cares, and I feel like that's a dying breed in college football nowadays. Especially, he truly cares about you as an individual, and yeah, he cares about you as a football player because he needs you to perform for his job. But at the end of the day, he cares about your growth as a human and becoming a man. And that was, I was just getting calls. They just want to call on, talk, and check in on me. And I'm like, Coach Ferentz is calling me. I better buckle up. That's what first time he called me. I'm like, oh no, what did I do? But no, it's just that's how he is, and it's just awesome being being around him and talking to him, and just him checking in on you. And he's like the position coach mentality, how like position coaches are close. Like he's like that with all his players, so it's awesome.
That is awesome. Yeah, I mean, I've wanted to get out to an Iowa game forever, just because it seems like it's its own unique brand in college football that's just sort of smash mouth, always strong in the trenches, and again, Coach Ferentz. So very cool. But man, I want to talk a little bit about your road to Iowa because from what I understand, man, you grew up going to games there, and it wasn't exactly a straight path for you to get there. But what did it mean to you? It actually, can we just talk about the grad transfer process in general? Because you do get to Iowa, but it's after an accomplished career already, what you're able to do at Northern Illinois. So how does one navigate being a grad transfer?
Oh, I mean, you got to be ready for it. The way I knew I was in the transfer portal is your Twitter starts blowing up. And coming out of high school, I was a walk-on at Northern, so I didn't have coaches hit me up at all. They would come to my school, like my high school, but my Twitter started blowing up, and I'm like, holy crap! I'm like, this is unreal. You just gotta be ready for it and have a plan, and that's what my mom, my girlfriend, my stepdad, and we all had a plan. Like I had to write down every school I talked to, what was their impression for it. I remember it's just sitting there and just trying to process it. I kind of messed up. I was talking to every coach for like an hour and a half, and I was like on my phone from the time I got up to the time I went to bed. But I should have been smart and be like, hey, 15 minutes, I got to talk to someone, but it's just you got to be able to manage your time, be level-headed too, because at the end of the day, you're only good for your 50 minutes of fame, I guess you can say. They want you now, but in the future, like you may not be the same. So that's what I was like taking it all in. It felt cool to be wanted like that because like I said, I was a walk-on, so like I wasn't ever wanted, but I'm someone where it got pretty old pretty quick for me because I'm on the phone again. I'm on the phone, like respecting all the coach. Like I'm respecting all the coaches, but like I was with my family, but I wasn't with my family. I was in the other room the whole time. So it was an awesome experience, but it's also a very tiring experience mentally if you're not ready for it.
Yeah, but to an extent, I would imagine that it kind of prepares you for where you are now. And there's 32 NFL teams, and I'm sure you have to talk to this coach and that coach. But because you've gone through this gauntlet once just a year ago, it's probably a little fresher in your mind. Like, oh yeah, that's right. I've kind of done this before.
Absolutely.
Now, you said you're a walk-on, and if I have it right too, you hurt your shoulder in 2016. So your first year in college, you basically redshirt. Man, the road to get to Iowa was not a straight line. The road to even having a good, college football experience wasn't a straight line. So can you just talk a little bit about how you were able to sort of persevere, the having no offers when this is what you want to do, having you find a school, you walk on, but you hurt yourself. I mean, that's got to be a tough 12, 16, even 16-month to 2-year stretch.
Yeah, I mean, it's just having a good support group. My mom was there, and she was there the whole time, and just keeping faith. It was hard. I became close with Chad Beebe, because I was the year
Okay.
Chad Beebe got hurt too in his true senior year, and I hurt my shoulder, and he really helped me build my faith. That's why I always thought I had a strong faith coming into college, but then I met Chad, and Chad really helped push me through the rehab. And because there's some days it's just a drag. Like, I'm not trying to, you don't want to go in there and do your 3-way 30s and do your lateral arm raises for your shoulder rehab. But he came in there and he's like, Jack, he's like, I'm here too. Like, you just got to push through. So, and he really helped me out a lot. And just the athletic training staff at NIU, they helped you out. They keep it fun and interesting every day. But it was just, there's an end goal in mind. Yeah, I mean, you can call me crazy. When I was 170 pounds going into high school, I said I'm going to play a Division I football and play in the NFL. So like that was the end goal. It's like, I'm playing. I'm gonna be a starter. I'm gonna earn a scholarship, and I'm gonna play in the NFL. That was always in my head. Like, that's what I'm doing. You can throw whatever you want at me. I'm gonna find a way. So it was just finding a way, and that's what all I did is just get up, put my feet on the ground, and hit the floor, like just hit the ground running with it and chasing a dream. You can't, if you have no vision to get there, it's not going to happen. So my vision was just go to work every day and good things will happen.
Yeah, that's such a cool story. Particularly Chad, who's had his crack at the NFL, and his dad, who's been on this podcast before. I mean, Don's a legend in his own right. But I mean, while you're there, I just want to ask about Sutton Smith, because obviously defensive lineman like yourself, even though he's playing on the edge, were you able to take anything from him and his approach? Because I mean, he explodes while he's there.
Yeah, Sutton was a grinder. I never seen, in a good way, I've never seen a bigger meathead in the weight room. I've never seen someone that size throw around that much weight. It's just, and him and I became good friends and work. So when I was getting better, I was always working out with him and trying to catch up to him on his weight, because I mean he was just tossing weight in there and he was so explosive. And just watching him work, he was always watching film. He was always working out extra. He was always doing like his own drills. So he definitely earned every bit of success he had when he was in college.
For sure. So, whether it is a Sutton Smith or the guys that you've just played with at Iowa, did you notice any common traits among some of the standout, teammates that you've had, whether it was their approach to the film room, their approach to anything that you've been able to take, or would you say that it's more the coaches that you were able to learn from in order to get yourself aligned?
I'll say it's a mixture. Especially I learned, I saw from the players is the amount of focus they had. Is everyone has a mission, and they had a mission that they were chasing, and what their end goal was going to be. So just being around those guys and just I would say we were all hungry. That's what we never got complacent. Just improving every day was all we wanted to do, no matter what day it was, no matter how good we got. So it's just, that's why I've been extremely blessed. I've had a lot of great teammates in my career. So, and everyone was hungry and they're just focused on the end goal and just pushing themselves. And then I also had great coaches from the very first coach I had at NIU and to the last one I had at Iowa.
No, I have to ask though, when you're at NIU back in 2018, you play against Iowa. When you're getting ready to play against the Hawkeyes, a team that you watched growing up, does anything go through your mind? Do you get extra jacked up for? Do you even have at that point a thought of like, hey, I might actually be able to be back, playing against or as a Hawkeye in the future?
No, I remember that game being extremely exciting for me because I was super excited to be able to play in Kinnick and play Iowa, and I just knew it was going to be an extremely tough game to play in, especially the way they run ball and they'll shove it down your throat all game. If the run's working, they're not going to change it up and throw it. But just playing against Iowa, it was an amazing experience, and playing in a full Kinnick, it was something different when you walk out, and it would have been different for me if I was in the black and gold at the time with all the fans cheering for me. But when they're cheering against you, it's pretty hard. It's a hard place to play in. And it was definitely probably the hardest stadium I played at.
Yeah, you're probably
being a visitor.
You're probably one of very few to know what it's like both sides of that, going in as the visiting team and playing there as for the home team.
Absolutely.
As we get close to wrapping this up, I just wanted to ask a little bit about what your thoughts were, just a little outside of football, because I'm sure that you have other stuff that you're passionate about. You have your degree, obviously being a grad transfer, right? I'm sure that you have interest in trying to give back in some way. So when you just think about life outside of football, what are some of the other things that you're passionate about and, hope to maybe get into one way or another?
For me, a lot of my hobbies that I like doing is I like spending time with family. Like, I just love being around my family. Have my girlfriend around. I have a golden retriever that's 3 years old. That's my dog, literally. but I mean, like that's who I love being around. Like him and I will do everything together. Like if I'm running to get some food, he's hopping in the truck with me. Like no matter what we're doing. And my roommate this past year, he introduced me into duck and goose hunting. And I've always wanted to do it growing up as a kid, but I never had the money to do it. And then once the season got canceled, he's like, we're going to go get some ducks. So I was like, all right, let's do it. And he helped me be a duck dog, and dog killed it as a duck dog. And I'm an addict for hunting now, and just in general. Like all I want to do is go hunting in all these cool spots and just other sports. I picked up golf last summer. Not good. But I just throw that out there. It's fun though. It's challenging, and it's just. But then like other things I want to do, like I want to be able to like give back to the community I'm in. I want to help them out with football and faith. Like just be able to build a base for the young kids, for the future football players to have faith in football and the importance of both of them, and that help you grow, especially in the game of football. You need a lot of faith just to get where you're at. And then something with having a bunch of family members in the military. It's just, I want to be able to do something with them. I know my stepdad, he's big with wounded warriors. But I know that I want to be able to create a foundation to help, or join a foundation to help, and just build something there. Because those men and women, they give their lives for our safety here in America, and I don't think they get enough for what they do. And the more that we can glorify them in a good way and put them out there for everything they do, I think the better.
For sure. Yeah, they put it all on the line. That's awesome. Well, man, as we wrap it up, I got this little thing called the Gauntlet. I got a couple quick hitter questions for you. Starting with, what's most important? Is it having the number one offense or the number one defense?
Oof. I'm a defensive guy, so I got to go defense all day. I mean, it's like you can watch the Super Bowl run this year. The Bucs defense was lights out. It really didn't matter what was going on. They were lights out this past watch.
And they basically went up against the number one offense. And when the number one offense couldn't do their thing, look what happens. You lose the game. All right, man. Favorite football memory to date?
To date? I would say probably the first time I was able to do the Black Swarm in Kinnick, the Swarm in Kinnick. I remember walking out, my roommate, I looked at him and I was like, this is pretty cool, huh? And he's like, yeah, imagine with 70-some thousand fans. I was like, yeah, there's about 2 here, and I'm pretty juiced up about this. It's just, it was something special. But it was cool, though, because that's what I'll take away with my time at Iowa. It's like there wasn't a lot of fans there. So it was like cool how close we became as a team. Because it was, you had to create your own juice at some of the games this past year because there's nobody there. Well, for me, I played in the MAC and MACtion, so I know what it's like having no fans. So it was awesome for me. That was a pretty sweet experience.
Yeah, that's cool. Well, did you have a pregame ritual that you stuck to?
Yeah. After we do our warm up, I go hit the bags, the post, and then I run in, and I always have to take my wrist before it's on, and then I always put my 2 armbands on my right and just sit there and listen to music. I kind of like to eat a little bit before games too, and at Iowa, and I kind of had to chill out on the apples because I was just munching on food before the game and the Gatorade chews and all that stuff. I was like, okay, I'm a little too wound up over here.
Now, what's most important? Is it the players or is it the scheme?
Oof. I want to say the players because the scheme doesn't work if you don't have the right players. But
I think
you have to have a good scheme too. Like you can have great players and have a bad scheme.
there's no right answer, but I think you're right.
Mm-hmm.
Well, man, last one for you, and I think it's most important. What's the best piece of advice that you would give to a young student athlete, 17, 18-year-old kid that looks and sees you, everything you've been able to accomplish? What would you say to them about getting to this point?
First of all, I'm going to let them know it's not easy and you don't know it all. There's a lot of things when it comes to college football. You don't know. You think you know when you're 18 years old and you're the man at your school. But going into college, you got to come in with a clean slate and just go to work. That's all you can do. That's all us upper class to work and buy into what the team's doing. And if you can do that, you will have a successful career. And just every day, that I can't emphasize it enough. Like just work is so important. Like having the right, like with the mindset of I'm going to work no matter what the situation is. Like I said earlier, like I had a goal in mind. I'm going to play in the NFL and I'm going to be a starter in a scholarship. And after I got hurt, I was devastated at first, but it was to the point where, what are you going to do about it? You're going to sit there and whine about it, or you're just going to go to work and just grab your lunch pail and strap up the boots and let's roll.
Let's roll. Man, that's awesome. So just in closing, where can everyone follow you on social media as you continue to move through your life?
I'm on Instagram, JHef51. And then I'm on Twitter too. Jack _A sack _. It's a weird one. I made it in high school. I thought it was really cool at the time. But and then that's basically it. I try to stay on social media and post, but I get a little carried away. I don't try to build a perception for everyone, and I try to be straight up who I am. I'm a small Midwestern kid. I'll give you the shirt off my back if you need it, and I just who I am. I just love people and love talking to them, meet new people.
I love it. Jack, thank you so much for taking the time.
Yeah, thank you for having me on here. It was a great time.